Hello, hello, hello. My name is Brian Trzaskos. I'm co-founder here at the Somatic Coaching Academy. Hope that you're having an amazing day today. And thank you so much for joining me for this little live stream on core centering to activate client engagement. So today we're going to do just a really brief core centering practice just to kind of give you a little taste of what we do in the core centering program in the event that you're like, hey, I would love to learn some of this stuff and use these really effective somatic practices with my clients as well to get better outcomes, have better achievement ratings for my clients, have my clients come back more often to and have better renewals and referrals and refer to mouth and all those kinds of things that really happen when you're able to really tap deeply into someone's experience and help them really achieve something amazing in their lives. And if you want to learn more about these things, you can always visit us at the somaticcoachingacademy.com and check out our next upcoming core centering program. So let's jump right in. So what is the deal with helping a client engage better? Well, one of the first barriers really to client engagement and successful client programs is the client's capacity to become present. Right, for them just to be able to come into the moment and be able to engage with you in a coaching process. So often clients rush into meetings, they're just rushing around. They show up completely kind of spun up in a big tornado about something that's going on, or they're just completely shut down such that they are really having trouble getting the energy up to engage in the process and participate. So these are both barriers to being able to be fully present and get the most out of their sessions with you. And certainly as a coach, that may be really frustrating for you. Know that you can deliver something really amazing for a client, but the barrier is that they're just not able to really attend fully because of what's happening or going on in their lives. And then what do we do? Well, coaches without somatic training will really be at a loss here, because in any of these scenarios, whether the client is really spun up or whether they're feeling really, really shut down, a coach that is not trained to somatic practices will typically intellectually try to help somebody, right? So they've only been trained to coach intellectually, and the problem is here is that when a client is really spun up or shut down, right, their cognitive abilities are at least temporarily disabled. They're incapacitated. Now that's not potentially a long-term thing, but in the moment, this is really a barrier because cognitively, right, their neocortex isn't functioning when someone's really way outside of a healthy and optimal, what we call zone of tolerance, right, window of tolerance. They're either really too activated, hyper aroused, or they're really too hypo aroused. So our first job is to help them get into that window of tolerance. So now somatic coaches know that presence, like for a client to be really fully present, really what that begins in the body, aka the soma. That's what body means, is soma. So somatic coaching is really about being able to primarily help someone attend to what's going on in their body. And attending to that body process really has a lot to do with effectively coming into the present moment. Right. So coming to the present moment, helping a client come into the present moment means releasing future anxieties and releasing losses from the past, at least for now, right? At least for the moment. Like, we want to help people respect and process through those things at some point in time. But what the barrier is in the moment of helping them become present is that they either are feeling really anxious about something that's coming up in the future, or they're having a really hard time coming to some resolution with a past loss. And so the past losses will tend to depress our nervous system and kind of put us in that more shutdown situation. And the anxieties about the future will tend to spin us up a little bit more. Now, those aren't like hard and fast laws that how it always happens like that. However, it happens often enough where we can kind of call it common. And you're probably noticing that in some of the people that you work with. So in core centering, we teach eight basic self-massage techniques to address when a client is lacking presence, either from being too spun up or too shut down. And I'm going to share two of those with you today, one for each idea. So just really simple. If someone shows up in your session and they're kind of shut down, their energy is low, they're having trouble engaging, they're feeling maybe confused, they seem to be kind of cognitively disabled in some ways. I'm not saying disabled like a disability, but they're just really having trouble processing through things because their energy is so low, and they're shut down, and they're focusing potentially on a loss that they're having trouble resolving. If we try to jump in cognitively, we just end up in the muck with somebody. So one of the practices that we find really super helpful, just from a self-massage point of view, is what we call brushing. So brushing is a way to wake the nervous system up. So what do we do for a brushing practice? Well, you can just push right away from your desk. I'm just going to push away right here. I'll show you my whole body, okay? So, and you just, brushing is kind of like a friction kind of thing. So if someone shows up and they're a little too under kind of aroused sort of thing, then I just have people basically say, okay, so let's wake the system up a little bit. So the way we wake the system up is just start doing a little brushing. So I like to have people kind of brush their hands together a little bit, almost like they're washing their hands, and just kind of brush, brush, brush. You have to remember that there's acupressure points all over the body. And so there's some really powerful ones on the hand that have a lot to do with how our nervous system functions. So we start doing a little brushing on the hands. Okay, now after we do a little brushing on the hands, and you can do this just sitting down. Lots of times when people are under aroused, they don't even want to stand up, right? So we just do this sitting down. Have people just some brush down the outsides of the legs. Just have people do some brushing like that. And you can even do some friction if they wanted to, some friction, but just some brushing. And with their breathing, we want to start to generate a little bit of a forceful breath. So it's kind of like, ah, and there can be some noise with it or not, whatever. But we want to just have a person start to really activate their breath. So we just do some brushing down the outsides of the legs. And then brushing up the insides of the legs with a forceful breathing. And if you're already feeling spun up and you're trying this, you might feel like you're actually getting a little more spun up. So you might just want to pause for a moment with me. But if you're feeling under aroused and you're doing this, it might feel like you're kind of activating your system a little bit. Okay, so up the front. Good, down an arm. Back to the hands again. There we are. So we brush those a little bit more. Good. We just do a little brushing. You can do it a little up and down if you want to. At this point, really the direction and stuff is less important than just kind of stimulating the system. Okay, I'm going to come a little closer back in here now. Back in. Okay, and we do just a little. We're going to knock the earpiece right off to have some fun with it. Okay, so we do a little brushing down the neck. Good. Down the neck. Good. A little brushing over the top of the head. Good. And then just kind of just sit for a moment and just notice what you feel. So I feel like my skin is more alive. My skin is kind of tingly. I've kind of woken some things up a little bit. So I know that I've kind of moved from a lower level of arousal and I've heightened it. Now, if you do that and you're already hyper aroused, that's going to make you more hyper aroused. So you probably don't want to do that. So do that to particular practice. So that's one way to start getting a brushing practice going. People don't even have to get out of their chair to do it. And you just basically wake the system up a little bit. Okay, so what if people are coming in, they're feeling kind of anxious about the future? Well, so for this technique, we're going to do what we call some deep pressure. So this is a different, and again, you're the coach. You don't have to do this to your client. You're guiding your client through these practices before you even get started, help somebody get centered. Okay, so deep pressure. So oftentimes people are spun up, they're up in their head. So what we're going to do is some practices specifically to help that. So one of my favorite ones is just take a hand, throw it over the opposite shoulder, find a spot on the back shoulder right there, and just kind of dig those fingers in and do some pressure. It's just some deep pressure right in that spot. And I like to take this hand and just kind of traction down to add some deep pressure in there. And this time the breathing is kind of like a sigh. So So this breathing is a bit slower than it was when we were doing the forceful breathing to wake the system up. So now the breathing becomes more quiet, a little longer, a little deeper. Good. Then you can just switch sides, other side, find that tight spot on the back of the shoulder there. Let the fingers sink in, and just traction down on that arm. We're just going to deep pressure that a little bit longer, hold it a little bit longer. Just asking someone to really just pay attention to feeling the pressure on the neck and feeling the pressure in the shoulder. All right, good, 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 good. Now, I just like to take the hand across the back of the neck, look in one direction, place hand across the back of the neck, and then just gently, slowly turn your head. I'm turning it back to the right and just dragging the muscles. And then when I find any tension point, to just wait for a moment. Just wait. Let the fingers sink in a little bit. Trick to this one is you're not working very hard, just nice and gentle. You're letting the turning of the head do most of the work. Nice and easy. Okay, hey, I'm on the other side now. Just switch hands. Gently sink those fingers in. So deep pressure. We're doing deep pressure. Deep pressure is a technique to calm the nervous system down. All right, so that's a deep pressure there. Another great one for deep pressure is right here at the base of the skull. I like to take a couple of thumbs, just let my thumbs sink right into that spot right there at the base of the skull. These are the gateways of consciousness points. Just some nice deep pressure on those spots. Oftentimes they're really tight right there. Okay. And then another actually kind of a secret spot for that connects with the head and the neck and the all that spin up that can happen is right in the web space there. And you can web space of your hand, you can do a little squeeze on that spot. And then I like to add just a little gentle stretch of my neck. Doing just a gentle pressure on that web space. I'm just squeezing the web space here, by the way. Just squeezing the web space and doing a gentle traction of that arm. Feeling a nice gentle stretch coming up the neck into the ear. Nice, quiet, slow breath. Switch hands. Other side, a little squeezy. Deep pressure. So deep pressure, again, helps to calm the nervous system down. Brushing helps to wake it up. So I don't know about you, but I was feeling pretty buzzy and tingly after doing that brushing. And now, just after doing a little bit deep pressure on these key points on my neck and on my shoulders and on my arms, I'm feeling kind of like sleepy. I'm feeling kind of more, kind of chilling out a little bit. So there's two great core centering practices, two massage techniques of the 8 that we teach in core centering. So if you're interested in improving your client outcomes by helping them become more present and engage with the sessions that you're a part of, join us for the next core centering practitioner program. We'd love to share all of the techniques with you on all levels that we work with people with all of the core centering elements so that you can get great outcomes with your clients too. All right, everybody, looking forward to checking you out next time and hope to see you in a program real soon. Bye-bye.